Hi, I'm Eileen Roach, founder of Designs and Machine Embroidery, and I'm excited to be here today to talk all about lace and to share with you how you can win a white Singer featherweight. How fun is that, right? You know, we have been busy here at Dime. This past year, we've been stitching a lot of jewelry, and I know many of you have also been stitching jewelry because I've seen posts on social media and so forth. So let me know where you're watching from. Just pipe in on the comments. And aloha, Judy Warren. So nice to have you here today. It's just great. And Isabel Brian from France, how lovely. And Diana Atkinson, boy, you spend a lot of time with Dime. That's so gracious of you. Thank you so much. And Alicia Gentry. So we are going to talk about fringe earrings and trends and, you know, the right stabilizer and hooping technique and all of that. So why don't we take a look at the special that we have? Is that what we're going to do first? No, let's look at the all the designs that are in this collection. So this is the lace jewelry collection. It has 6 necklaces, 3 bracelets, and 16 earrings. Plus, there's also a hardware kit that's available that makes it so easy to just make your own jewelry, and mainly earrings. That's what the hardware kit is for. There's so many of you joining in from, oh, Dory, is it cloudy in Naples today? I know that makes people sad in Naples, but we need a little, right? Everybody needs some clouds and some rain. Without the dark, there is no light. So we have to put up with it. We have to put up with it for sure. So some of these earrings you can stitch in any kind of thread that you want, in the polyester, you know, regular embroidery thread, 40 weight, or King Star metallic, even variegated thread. And I've had a lot of fun working with these embroidery designs. And you know, what I really love about the lace jewelry is that it's light as air. You don't have to worry about the heavy weight. If you like big earrings, like look how big these earrings are that I'm wearing today. This is very out of character for me to wear them this large, but they're fun, and they're thread, so they are just like air. It's really wonderful. You can kind of pair them with some leather pieces if you'd like in this image on the model on the left. Those leaves are stitched on water-soluble stabilizer. They're completely freestanding, and yet I sewed them onto a piece of leather in the shape of a leaf, and it just adds a little bit more dimension and allows that thread to pop. Yeah, it's really fun. So Diana Mullins Atkinson, you've been using My Lace Maker for about a year. Oh, so you use the software. That's awesome. We love the software for sure. Boy, we have stitched a lot of lace. Okay, so here's a close-up look of that necklace that the model was wearing. Oh, and Judy, thanks for the compliment. You like these earrings? Yeah, they're fun. They're really festive and kind of fun. I like them too. And I like that you can stitch them to match what you're wearing, right? So it's extend your wardrobe for sure. Oh, Diana Mullins Atkinson, you use My Lace Maker to create your own designs for wedding veils. Goodness, we would love to see that work. Why don't you tag that on social media? Post it on social media, one of your veils, and you know, maybe just tag it with hashtag Dime Sew Along, and we'll find it and showcase it here next week. That would be really cool. Okay, these leaves are some of my all-time favorite. They are just awesome, and you can pair them. You can make them as earrings, or there's a larger version that you can do like a big medallion for a necklace. And speaking of necklaces, here's another one that now I would, you know, that would be quite heavy if that were real gold. So with the King Star metallic, it's so light, really, really fun. Okay, so we have so many pretty examples to show you. And before we do, we're going to take a look at some of the fringe so you can see how it stitches. And you have an option on many of these lace earring or these fringe earrings to stitch them in 2 colors or just one, like the one that's stitching now on the left. Isn't that fun? So it does all the black first. And then it's going to come in and do an accent band of gold or whatever thread color you choose, but really fun. And you can see on the right, I did the kind of khaki green with gold, and I even added some gemstones, you know, some Swarovski crystals to that base. Oh, I just love that. So pretty. But I want to share with you one of our employees here at Dime, Annette Yeager, who is our accounting manager, and she's been here several years. Just last year, she bought an embroidery machine. Now, she's been a sewer her whole life, so she's really comfortable behind a sewing machine, making garments, quilt blocks, you know, you name it. But embroidery was new to her, so she went to a local dealer and bought a used embroidery machine and, you know, was getting started on this journey. And I said, well, you know, lace earrings or jewelry is something that maybe you should start right away. And she thought, well, it looks so complicated. And I'm like, really? You'd be surprised. Well, I think I'm the one who was surprised because she every day wears lace earrings that she has made, and she has a huge collection, and she has gifted me many earrings. So I thought I would, in fact, she made these in our denim variegated thread because she knows I wear blue an awful lot. So that's adorable. Let's head over to the overhead cam and take a look at some of her work. Isn't this charming? So she likes bright colors. So this neon green, super fun, great for St. Patrick's Day. The yellow, we'll talk about in a minute. But here is those same variegated earrings that I'm wearing now. And she loves these. It's kind of a big medallion. It's got a hole in the center. And then this is another of her favorites. So I prefer to stitch this in the metallic thread, whether it's gold or silver, but she loves the variegated. And here is the red, white, and blue medley. Oh, how fun is that? Isn't that great? That's going to be really fun to wear on the 4th of July. And how about this color? So this is a beautiful combination of variegated thread. And yesterday I was wearing this shirt. So would that go great? I mean, that's a lovely accent to wear together. I really like that. Now, she asked me a question about this embroidery design. She struggled when she made this, not this pair, because this pair is all straight in a line, but she had trouble with one. And I have an example of that in a moment that I'll show you. But I just thought I'd show you some of the other variations, like that, the big medallion that I'm wearing now. This is what it would look like in the King Star Metallic, all one color. And also here it is those kind of spider webby, organic, you know, form earring. And this is also the metallic, and that has a matching bracelet that comes with it. Super fun. And in our hardware kit, we include a couple of these bracelet clasps that just have the lobster claw on each end, but they're magnetic. So easy to get on and off. I love that. And you'll notice I have some purchased jewelry in my box here of treasures, right? A couple of them. So let's go ahead and take a look at a tray I made with adding the jewelry right to it. So I match the, you know, the birthstone or whatever with a Swarovski crystal and just kind of dresses it up. If I don't have a match, then I just use either a pearl or, you know, they're not diamonds, they're rhinestones, but they could be diamonds, right? Aren't they fun though? I think that's really sweet. It's just a way to kind of dress them up a little bit. And if you don't like the large earrings to dangle more, this is a way that you can stitch them so they're not as long as when they are on, you know, an earring, a dangler. So see how it makes it just a little bit smaller because you eliminate that hardware. So that's a good thing to remember. Now, let's take a look at this tray. Here we have Fringe here. And oh, the Fringe is so much fun. There's quite a selection of Fringe earrings in this collection. And, you know, I just love these. These are my absolute favorite, and they're really easy to do. They do have a right side, which you are looking at, and this is the wrong side, which isn't that horrible, but I'll bring it up. And you can see there is some bobbin thread that's visible here along the edge where this fringe meets the actual body of the earring. And so that's why there's a right and a wrong. Now, I always match my bobbin thread to the top thread. So I do change bobbins for the blue fringe and the top. So super fun to do. Did I change? I mean, I probably didn't do that for this little piece, and I probably didn't do it for this little section because, you know, you're not going to notice that. Especially when you have black hair, you're not going to really be able to decipher that. So I just want to make sure I'm not missing any questions. And let's see, Diane Atkinson, you used our exquisite fine line lace. That's a great idea. You use our fine line thread, and the lace does look beautiful in that thread. So the fine line is 60 weight. It's lighter weight than our traditional 40 weight, so it gives a softer hand to all of the embroidery designs in lace and also the jewelry. So super fun. Okay. And Marilyn Vives, this is your first live. Well, welcome. It's not my first, thank goodness, but sometimes you might think, is this her first time doing this? Anyway, thanks for joining us. It's always great to have newbies here as well as all of our dear friends that join us all the time. And Isabel, you love how you can match the jewelry with your clothes. I know, I like that too. And frankly, I really learned that from Aine McCarthy, who's one of our treasured dime educators. She is such a talented lady. And she introduced me to that concept. She took a scarf out of her wardrobe and used those colors in the scarf to select her threads, which was just brilliant. Absolutely. Just brilliant. Okay, so now we can move over to, let's move over to the next tray before we get to the fringe. And I'm going to bring back in, if you remember, when I was discussing Annette's earrings, you know, I said that she had a question about this one. Now, if you take a look at this earring, the connection between each of these, shall we dare call them diamonds? Well, let's do it. So the connection between the diamonds is very delicate. They are stitched together, but it is delicate. So if you're not careful, it can dry crooked like this one. So that's not very desirable, right? So the trick to that is in the drying process. So let's go ahead and take, I have one that I've already stitched, and I just want to show you how I would dry this. So I would take a pair of scissors and trim as close as I can. I most certainly don't want to snip the thread. I'm just getting close because we just don't need all that excess. And then I would run this under very warm water, warm enough that my hands don't, you know, I don't harm my hands, but that I would definitely run it under warm water. And then I would place it inside a bowl of warm water and let it, you know, soak for a little while. And I've already done that with this one. So let's go ahead and drop that one in there and let it do its thing. And then when I go to dry this, I would take it and place it on a terry cloth towel and take 2 pins and position it so it's nice and straight. And then I would just let it dry like that. Now, periodically, while it's drying, I may come over to it and with a sharp, skinny device to just make sure that it's not sticking to the terry cloth, because that can happen, right? So we just want to make sure it's nice and straight. And if you need to, you know, place another pin in the center, you could. If it's the long bracelet, you might want to do that. But otherwise, once that's dry, it'll stay in place like that. Okay, some other problems that can happen on any earring, really. But I have an example here of an open eyelet. So what happened here, and here, let me bring up the other one so you can see good and bad. So here's good, right? And here's one that has split. And that split when I was removing the earring. So it had hardware inside the eyelet, And then when I was removing it, I guess I was too rough on the jewelry finding, and I tore through that. So I learned, well, if I just hit that with Fray Check or Fray Block by June Taylor, just, put a little dab on the eyelet itself all the way around, probably apply it from the back and let it dry. Now, of course, this is after you have rinsed away the water-soluble stabilizer and after it has dried thoroughly. Then you would apply the Fray Check to only the eyelet. That's all you want to do. If you get a big blob of Fray Check, make sure you take a sharp, maybe a toothpick or a large pin, and put it inside the hole to keep that nice and open. And then once it's dry, you won't have to worry about splitting the eyelet with any hardware, because that's a bummer, right? Oh, let's see. Lynn Gatling, great comment. She says, just when you think there's nothing else to create with your multi-needle, along comes new designs. Well, you're going to love the lace jewelry because it's so super easy to do. And of course, you're going to use 2 layers of water-soluble stabilizer. And we like to use our sew and wash. And you want to make sure it's the mesh type, not the film type, because there's lots of tiny satin stitches, many, many needle penetrations that can puncture that film type of water-soluble stabilizer, and it just is not appropriate for this project. So 2 layers of our sew and wash. We love this stuff, and use the smallest hoop available. Now I do try to gang up multiples in a hoop, because the stabilizer is expensive, right? So do as many as you can for sure. Oh, and Lynette, you're going to try the patriotic earrings. Oh, I love that. And you're going to try blue top thread with white bobbin thread. Okay, let's see, red on the main portion. Oh, so not a variegated thread. I like that. Yeah, that's a great idea. So red on the main portion of the earring with matching bobbin, and on the fringe, you'll try blue on the top with white bobbin thread. No, I don't think I would do that. I would do blue fringe on the top and blue fringe on the bobbin. But you know what? You most certainly can get 4 of these earrings in one 4x4 hooping. So, do 2 different versions, right? Do 2 different versions. It's just a little bit of time. It's not that long. It's really not that long. Okay. Okay, so now I guess you want to know how we cut the fringe, right? Because Annette Yeager, as game as she was to jump into embroidery, right? I was so impressed with everything that she's tried. She's been a little leery on the fringe. And I'm like, oh, come on, you could do the fringe. So after today, I imagine she's going to do the fringe. So let's go ahead and kind of clean this space here so I don't make a mess on top of all these pretty samples. And I'll bring in my hooped. And I always trim my fringe in the hoop. I leave it right in the hoop. And you can use a monster hoop. It doesn't matter. Either one will work. And then you're going to flip it over to the wrong side. All right. And now, they look really good, right? The front and the back looks really good. But this is going to get messy. So I'm going to hold on to my hoop. And I'm inserting the blade right into that bobbin thread. Takes a little bit to just work that blade into the beginning of the bobbin threads, and then I'm going to snip. And I know some of you are maybe holding your breath thinking, oh, should we really do that? I know it seems so dangerous, but I am exerting pressure on the blade and pulling it against that edge of the bobbin thread. So I'm pulling it, exerting some pressure, snipping, and then advancing the blade, doing the same thing. Now, we got to get that end. There we go. And it's a mess. It's a hot little mess here. And then I just pull gently. It's embroidery, right? We're not riding a horse, so we're not pulling on the rein. We're just trying to kind of gently pull out that bobbin thread. And then we're going to trim that big long tail. And, I often do this in my sewing room right over the trash can. I just bring that trash can, over right by my seat, and then I just work right over it. And that's pretty good. And so we have this little excess bobbin thread. You could trim it down, but frankly, it adds some fullness to the earring from the front. So there's our fringe. How fun is that? Isn't that great? Now, some of you may like to leave loops. Maybe you don't want absolute straight fringe. So if you just want loops hanging here, then don't trim at all and just rinse away the water-soluble stabilizer and you will have loops. But my preference is the loops. I really like that. Now, truth be told, right now it's in the stabilizer, right? So it's as strong and stiff and as perfect as it's ever going to be. So once we rinse it away, you will find maybe some strays that are from, the back, or some of these are not even. And then you'll just take your scissors and you'll just trim along that edge and make it a nice straight, curve. And you may have a couple of strays out here. And if any of you have had the pleasure of aging and getting gray hairs, those strays that appear around your face or around your, the crown of your head. It's just like that. They're the strays. They don't want to behave. They just kind of want to flip out. So isn't that so easy to do? So shall we do another one? Let's see, Jackie Cheek, you say you do the fringe. Yeah, you're telling her to do the fringe. Why not? Be brave, right? So again, I'm going to put that scissor in there and I'm going to snip, and I'm exerting that pressure, right? Yep, I'm exerting pressure against the edge of the bobbin thread and pulling, and then we'll just release these extra thread that's back here. And again, remember, we're just pulling that gently. We don't really want to rip it out. Now, I have never had fringe completely unravel. Someone asked me that in a previous live. And, I wear these earrings and wear them all the time. And I've never had them unravel. So, it is a little bit of a mess, right? It's a little bit of a mess, but easy to clean up for sure. So then we take it out of the hoop, trim that excess stabilizer close to the jewelry, and then rinse that in nice warm water. And you can even, set that in a cup of warm water if you want to, and let it, let all that water soluble go away. It's just so go away. Okay. Aren't they fun? I know. You got to do them. They're super fun. And what great gifts. They're just joyful gifts to give someone. They really are. So our special today is, you have the 25 jewelry options for $39.99, and it's free shipping. Plus, we also have a hardware kit that's a separate purchase, because many of you may already have a hardware kit. And I can show you what's in that. So let's go ahead and take a look over there. And in the hardware kit, you're going to have jump rings and these fish hook earrings in all these different colorways. So the really light silver, gold, rose gold, stainless, and then old brass gold. So they're all your choices. And lots of people want to know, well, gee, how do we get that jump ring open? So here's our earring, and we want to add a jump ring to this location right here. So that's what's going to allow our earring to swivel. So let's get a jump ring. And this toolkit also comes with two pairs of pliers. And that's because you actually need two pairs of pliers to do this task. So I am going to take each end of the jump ring in my pliers, and I'm just going to, here, let me get it where you can see, and I'm going to open that up. So I basically just pull them apart so I can open that up. And then I insert the earring, and then I insert my eyelet of my earring. And now I take that jump ring and I close that back up. And when you hear the jump ring snap, You can hear the two pieces of metal snap against each other. Now, my microphone isn't sensitive enough in this studio for you to hear it, but that's how easy it is to add the jump ring and to close it. Isn't that fun? Oh my gosh, they're so fun. And you have, I forget how many you get. It's like 200 or some crazy number. If you make that many earrings, wow, I'm so proud of you. Does the hardware come with? The hardware kit does not come with. It's sold separately, but it's very reasonable, and somewhere we would have a price for that, so I'm not sure. And Maryland virus, if you are allergic to nickel, I believe there is nickel in it. I can't guarantee that there isn't, so you'd be better off getting jewelry findings that you are really comfortable with and know what they're made out of. So yeah, super funny. I mean, not funny. It's important. It's very important for those who are allergic to nickel. And we have an employee here who is allergic to nickel. And boy, she had a terrible time. Do you know lots of laptops have nickel keyboards? Who knew? Okay. So maybe you saw in the promo that I mentioned something about the opportunity to win a white Singer featherweight. Well, there's a bit of a story behind it. You're not going to win it from dime. We don't have it here, but I want to share this with you. You know, I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and here in the Metroplex, we have several great sewing machine retailers, and one of them is Denton Sewing, and they're located north of Dallas, and they've been in business since 1986, a family-run store. And let's go ahead and take a look at PowerPoint. So, there we go. And you can see this is Denton Sewing. So look, it doesn't look so nice, all right? If you look really deep in front of that white car, the doors are open. That's because they had a fire. In May, they had a devastating fire that completely engulfed their business. And it's just heart-wrenching to see the damage that a fire can do to a building, a business, a community that's served by this family. And I want you to know it happened in the middle of the night and no one was hurt. Thank God. No one was in the building and nobody was hurt. But I just thought I would share these images with you just to show you what embroidery machines look like after a fire. Oh my goodness, isn't that horrible? I know, it's just devastating. But, you know, people come together, right? So, of course, immediately you have to board up the windows and the doors of the building so that it is, you know, so that it's safely, you can't enter it and so forth, so nobody could go in. So these are people, they're customers and friends and community members that stopped in to say hello and wish them the best and signed that piece of plywood. And one of them wrote "Miracles from Ashes," which is a very touching thought, because this building, as you look here, the building on the right-hand side was all of the Denton Sewing Center. And the building on the left, they also owned. They had offices there, and they had a small classroom. And this arrow points to the classroom, that one door there. That table that you see to the left of the arrow is where the owner was actually, it's a desk, it's a work desk that they brought out into the parking lot to answer the phone and do a little, you know, taking care of business, calling electricians and carpenters and all of that. You know, I mean, they're not outside there now, but look inside. So I went to visit Debbie and her family and see how they were doing and offer my condolences for this business, you know, catastrophe. And I treated myself to a Disney scan and cut, and I'm so excited to get it out of the box. That'll be really cool. But, you know, from ashes, miracles do occur. Look, when I walked in, they were doing a dream panel, preparing for a class. So, you know, all is not lost. They have converted this classroom into a retail space so that they can continue to be open, serve their customers. In fact, their customers have been bringing in machines for repair. The very next day after the fire, even knowing that the fire occurred, they still brought in machines to be repaired because they knew that they would get fixed. So that's just amazing. So here's where they're located in Denton. You can see Dallas down there at the bottom of the map. Now, a little bit to the right of that is a small town called Crossroads, Texas. And that's 9.8 miles. And there's a quilt shop there called Boxcar Quilts. Now, Denton Sewing and Boxcar Quilts, even though they're 10 miles apart, they don't know each other. They probably share a lot of customers, right? Because they serve the same geographical area. So Laura Turner and her partner, Amy Turner, owners of Boxcar Quilts, were recently in the most current issue of Quilt Sampler. They were featured. So they have an adorable shop. I mean, it's adorable, right? And out of the kindness of their hearts, they are sponsoring a special weekend with the proceeds to go to Denton Sewing. And they're also opening their classroom to Denton Sewing to allow Denton Sewing come in and host some classes. So here you can see just an adorable view of Boxcar Quilts, and that's Laura up on the left-hand corner, and she does Facebook Live 3 times a week, so you can go over to boxcarquilts.com, like them, follow them on Facebook, and learn all about what they have to do there. They are kind of featherweight aficionados. They don't sell other machines that I'm aware of, but they do sell and service featherweights, and they have some really great accessories because I've been there to buy them. Anyway, Heart to Heart Weekend is going to be Friday, June 25th to the 26th, to the 27th. And it's 3 fun-filled days. Friday will be a sew day where customers will come in. They'll pay $5 to sew in their beautiful, spacious classroom, which we will show you next week. And 50% of those profits will go to Denton Sewing. On Saturday, they'll be open all day, and they will also continue that sew day into piecing together for friends, and anything, all proceeds from that day, 50% of the profits will be donated to Denton Sewing. Now you have to remember, they don't know each other, right? Boxcar Quilts and Denton Sewing don't know each other. So today, now they do, believe me, and they will after this weekend get to know each other really well. But Sunday is the really fun event. And they are going to be hosting a silent auction, complete with shopping and food and all of that. And Dime is going to donate a weightless quilter for the silent auction, and I'm excited about that, to participate. But this is where you can buy a raffle ticket, and I think you can buy them online for that white featherweight. And of course, Laura's going to be here next week to tell us all about it. But over on Boxcar Quilts, you'll get all this information. You can make a donation directly to Denton. You can purchase tickets. You can sign up for Friday, for Saturday, or buy the raffle tickets. So if out of the kindness of your heart, you find you'd like to take a chance and win that white Singer featherweight, know that it's going to a really good cause. And we just want Denton Sewing to come back very, very strong. So next week, I'm going to have Laura Turner here. Maybe Debbie from Denton Sewing. We'll see. She's a little camera shy, but that's okay. If she doesn't want to come on, Laura and I can handle it. And next week is the July Small Town Charm reveal, which I'm super excited about. And it's not a firehouse. It's a more joyful thing. Although good things happen in firehouses too. So I hope you'll join us next week. That's going to be a lot of fun. And I appreciate all of you coming. And Steve, Norman, you wanted to know, is that virtual? I don't believe it's virtual, but I don't think you have to be there to win the Singer featherweight. So, but Laura does an awful lot of Facebook Live, so I wouldn't be surprised if she's going to broadcast that. But you know what, Steve, we can ask her that next week when she's here. And that would be really great to be able to see it from wherever you are. But if you're local, it would be a fun place to visit either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So next week, we'll see you at 1 o'clock on Thursday for our special guest.